might have an occasion that you're just out somewhere and get stranded for the overnight or something, nothing serious, but you know, you're not making it back tonight. Could be some certain winter days or spring or fall where the day's nice and bright, sunny, still not, you know, really that warm, but when you're with the full sun and hiking away or whatever, you're plenty warm dressed, perhaps as I am, in a pair of Levi's and a shirt like this. And you know, perhaps something happens or whatever, and you wind up having to stay the night. And you know, you may not have taken much with you. How are you going to survive the night when it gets down into the mid to low teens, or perhaps even into single digits at night, which is quite common in certain times of the year. And you know, assuming that perhaps you brought one of our ponchos with you in case of bad weather or something. The poncho would give you some relief as far as the wind directly driving through you. And I'm going to show you a little technique that can be used with the poncho with a very simple little method. Only a few extra ounces in your kit, and an item that can actually fit in the bag that the poncho comes in. And you can use that to add quite a bit of temperature range to your comfort level for the night. So let me show you what we can do here. Alright, so as you can see, I've got my poncho on, multicam. I'll tell you that the poncho on just by itself is giving me a good bit of extra comfort level, even though it has no insulating value of itself. There is a slight breeze here. You know, it's not much, maybe a few miles an hour or something, but you do feel that little bit of a chill. And you know, if I was just in my clothing, totally unprotected, I would be considerably less comfortable than I am just with the poncho on by itself. Now, if I had the liner snapped in too, I'd be pretty cozy for this deal right at the moment. But let me show you what I had in mind. A lot of survivalists or ex-military, military folks have used at times a lit candle inside of their poncho in an extreme circumstances, to warm things up here around the trunk of their body, to kind of keep that warm. And that's definitely a feasible course of action, you know, in an extreme case, to try to keep yourself from going into hypothermia or something like that. And I was going to do a video on that last year or the year before, I can't remember which, but I was a little concerned about showing people putting a lighted candle inside their poncho. This multicam poncho is fire retardant, so it's not really going to start on fire, but a hole could get burned in it or something like that, which would be undesirable. So, but you know, if you do have a fleece liner inside, and that also, even though that's got some fire retardancy too, I mean, you know, I'm just a little leery, except in a very extreme case, of having a open lit candle inside the poncho in a seated bivvy type situation. So, so what I have done is use the little Yuko micro lantern, and I've got it inside the optional neoprene case, which is definitely advisable. Keeps everything nicely protected and everything, and all that sort of thing. And basically the lantern just extends up like this. Locks into place. It can be hung up and used for ambient lighting or kind of some emergency lighting. You could do a little bit of reading with it or that sort of thing, but I like to use it primarily as a backup heat source. And it does have a candle here. It's a votive or tea light candle, and then there's a space in the compartment underneath to put an additional candle. Now each one of these will burn 5 to 6 hours, kind of depending. So you got at least probably a minimum of about 10 hours of candle burning time, which, you know, that should get you through a night or something like that. I prefer, of course, I grew up a beekeeper. My grandpa's occupation was a beekeeper, and my dad did that for quite a number of years himself after he retired from the military and air traffic controller. But I prefer myself to use a beeswax candle for several reasons. One, a beeswax candle burns a little bit hotter than a paraffin candle. It also melts at a higher temperature, so you know, if you're carrying this thing and you get into some warmer weather, beeswax candle's not near as likely to melt, to kind of melt all over things or whatever. So that's significant. The other thing is paraffin candle typically is going to give off kind of a black sooty smoke, and also there are some toxins, that sort of thing, in your typical tea light candles. And the beeswax, just an organic you know, wax from the bees, made by the bees, and it has a pleasant aroma. We have very little smoke, and you don't have that black sooty type smoke that is common with a tea light candle, with a paraffin. And Wilderness Innovation, we've actually we have been using beeswax in our fire starter kits for the fire sticks. We have a machine that impregnates the cordage all the way to the very core, to the very center, with hot wax, and so it's totally sealed, totally waterproof. And we just we went ahead and set up production for making both the tea light candles and the larger votive candles that'll burn for 15 or 16 hours. And so you'll see those come up on our website as an availability as an emergency heat source or light source or whatever. But for tonight, I mean, what we're talking about here is using this as a heat source. All right, so typically we just light this thing up. This one's never been lit yet, so it takes just a little longer. I would advise, if you're going to use something like this, light the candles at home that you're going to use and let them burn for a little bit, you know, maybe a couple of minutes, and then blow them out. And that kind of chars the end of the wick, and it makes it very easy to light it, especially if you have some difficult conditions. So it's kind of like you're making you're making kind of a charred wick instead of a virgin wick like this one was, which is a little bit harder to light. So now, the way I would use this inside of here is I go ahead and unsnap one of my snaps here, just to make it easy to get in there. And I would set this, get that little hook out of there. There we go. So I would set this inside my poncho, and typically one of the best spots is to just kind of keep it between your legs. And you can either, and you can see it here, the light from it and everything. But you can just keep it between your legs like that, and you'll feel in just a few minutes time, you'll feel the heat start to build up inside of the poncho. And really what you want to do, you want to make sure you try to keep the core of your body as warm as possible. And that's what we're looking at doing here. We're looking at trying to keep our core warm. I can already feel a good bit of warmth starting to build up inside of here. And so that's all you got to do. Now, another option to holding it with your hands is if you can get a piece of split wood or something like that, you can either lay it across your lap, or you can put it so you sit on it, and then you can actually set the lantern right between your legs on a flat platform or something like that. That works really well. I could show you a little something there. I'm going to lift up from this end here, and back on the seat here a little. Now, of course, this is a piece of 2x4, but you get the drift anyway. The idea would be that you'd want to be able to position somewhat like this. Now see, this doesn't ever get really hot to burn you. This very top will get, that'll obviously get a little bit warm, but the sides here, you know, I can hold it so it's not, you know, it's not extremely hot. The glass is a little hotter than this rim is. But you see, if I touched the very top. So if I were to position that like that, and then throw this poncho over there, now my hands are free, and I don't have to worry about, you know, holding the lantern. I can sit here like this and get cozy, and I could even take a little snooze or whatever, and I don't have to worry about it. And typically what I would do is hold my hands kind of in front of the lantern out like that, and I don't really have to worry about burning a hole in the poncho unless it actually rested right on the very top of the little silver disc right above the candle flame itself. The other thing I was mentioning is I like to pull my arms in, and I grab this corner tab, or the shoulder tab I call it, and pull that in underneath my armpit. And then I want to do the same thing on the other side. Pull it in underneath my armpit like that. Just kind of pull them together. Now then I'm pretty well sealed on the sides. Whatever heat's inside of here is going to stay inside of here pretty well. I could even pull the drawstring here a little bit, kind of seal it off, or if I had a scarf or anything like that, I could tuck it around here to keep any heat from escaping. That's what the Eskimos would do, is their clothing is designed for the body heat to rise and not be able to escape out through the neck or the head. So it's all contained inside of there. And of course we don't really have any insulating value here because this is just a poncho, but it does have the capability, like my hands inside of here are not feeling cold or anything like that. We're down in the high teens right now, and we're going to get down close to single digit here tonight. But I could sit here like this. I'd be able to weather the night like this. I'm a little bit protected from wind and that sort of thing with where I'm seated. I am sitting on the seated bivy chair that we made a video about that not long ago. So I'm not sitting on a cold ground. My back isn't leaning against anything cold itself. So I am, you know, I am protecting myself as much as I can here. So now the only other thing is if I were to add a liner, a snap-in liner that goes with the poncho, and if I were to do this very same thing with that, I would be very, very comfortable right now. I'm actually not a bit uncomfortable at the moment right now anyway, but having that extra insulating value, I would be very cozy to spend a night out in the teens or maybe even into the single digits. You know, if I had just this candle, this micro candle lantern inside of here burning, and with a snap-in liner. Now I can weather tonight fine, just like this, with just my basically street clothes on the poncho. So anyway, that's what I wanted to show you tonight, is just another way to for about 5 ounces or thereabouts, maybe 5 or 6 ounces, have something that you carry along with you. Stuff it right in it'll easily fit right in your poncho bag. This little Yuko micro lantern in its case, it'll fit right in there, no problem. You never even know you have it. And if you get on a situation like this and all you got your street clothes in that or whatever, thermally you can keep yourself preserved from getting hypothermic or that sort of thing. So anyway, just a little tip. I know this isn't a short tip, but when I get started talking, I get long-winded, you know. But Well, I just want to make sure you understand, what I'm trying to put out here. And like I say, I've used this on a number of occasions and found it to be well worth having. It's a good little addition to have for those kind of emergencies, that sort of thing. It'd be good to have in your bug out bag or something. You could even throw some extra tea light candles in there. Like I say, we'll have those on our website. You could buy those in packages or whatever, stock up some bulk of those, and it could be good for quite a while. But just stocking the lantern up with one mounted ready to burn and one in the storage container in the bottom of the lantern, that's going to give you 10 to 12 hours of heating with the lantern. Or if you're out hunting or whatever and you need to take a break for a little while, need to rest or something and it's chilly, you could just do this right here, light up the lantern and keep you nice and warm while you take a little breather, a little rest for an hour or two or something like that. And that way you're not sitting resting and getting chilled. And so that's another option for using it. So anyway, so this is the little find my way out of here. So there's the little Yuko micro lantern, and does very good. And you can't see virtually no smoke whatsoever coming off of that thing, and that's very nice. I can feel, now that I've pulled it out from inside of here, I can feel a little. It's a considerably chillier inside the Poncho than it was with just that in there. So it's like a 100 watt incandescent bulb, which in the US I guess is outlawed now, but but anybody that knows what one of those is, that's how much heat you got here. And so anyway, take care, be safe, be careful whenever you're outdoors. A little tip to keep you safe. Perry Peacock, Wilderness Innovation, loving the outdoors no matter what.